going to ask you a tough question, and if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. You can respond however you want to with it. And so respectfully, what was one of the hardest missions to fly?
Well, right off the bat, I guess the toughest one is when we have kids involved. See them all mangled up, it's pretty tough.
We were camping actually in Elkwater with my sister, my mom and my dad, and all of my sister's kids. They all are varying ages, so trying to keep them entertained all day is a feat all in itself. They had wanted to go with their brother, their older brother, out to explore. And so he was 16 at the time, and I'm like, okay. So we took all the kids, and I was reading my book. And so our daughter came running into the trailer, and she's like, Mom, Grayson's bleeding, he's bleeding. And I'm like, okay, like, we'll deal with it, like, not a big deal. And Grayson typically is a child that injures himself frequently. So for someone to tell me he's bleeding is like something I hear all the time. I went to put my shoes on and I could hear my oldest screaming, just screaming. And he's like, Mom. And I'd never heard him scream like that before. So I knew right away that it was more than just a scrape of the knee. So I came out of the trailer, went around the corner, and I could just see like the sheer panic in his face, and his whole shirt was covered in blood. He gets into me and he hands me him, and he's like, I don't know what to do.
That morning I went to Oyen to go pour concrete and set up a foundation for a house. So I'm 2 hours out of town working, and you get the phone call that your son's been hit by a truck and not told anything else, and not told how bad is he alive, is he bleeding, is he broken? Because your instant reaction for me as the dad is I'm supposed to protect my kids, and I was working and I couldn't.
My oldest really, at that point, he had kind of gone off on his own because he was really, really upset. I remember him telling me, he's like, I tried, Mom. I ran so fast. I tried so hard. He's like, I just couldn't get there. And it was at that point that I realized that he wasn't hit by a car, that he hit a car. They'd gone up Ferguson Hill about a quarter of the way. And if anyone's been to Elkwater, they know that that hill's very, very steep. And Grayson wanted to ride his brother's bike, which is a Grayson thing. He's a daredevil. He is used to riding a bike that you brake with your feet. So this bike you braked with your hands. And so he started going, and Riley said he remembers him screaming, I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop. So he started running behind the bicycle to try and get Grayson. And so the couple at the bottom said they heard him screaming and didn't want to move because they didn't know where down the hill he was coming and didn't want to hit him. So they just kind of stayed parked at the four-way stop.
Instant panic kicks in because that's my kid, I gotta go. I didn't even talk to my boss, I left. Kept driving, dropped the company truck back off at the shop, got into my vehicle and flew over to the hospital. So I went inside, go up to the nurse. I'm like, well, is my son here? He was the one that Halo's bringing in. And she's like, no, he's not here yet. They're coming. So you're just gonna have to wait.
The Halo was there within, it seemed like forever, but I feel like it was only 30 minutes. For me, it was like a breath of relief that there was something there that I didn't have to drive an hour plus in an ambulance with him, that I knew that we'd be there really quick, and that if there was something wrong, the quicker they could address it, the better in most of those situations.
So I'm outside pacing, waiting to hear this helicopter come, and I can't hear it. So I picked up my phone and I called the friend of mine, and I'm like, bro, we need to pray for my son. He's been hit by a truck and I don't know what's up. And then as I'm talking to him on the phone, I can hear the helicopter coming. So I run back inside, and you're sitting there with anxiety because you just want to get in there and see your kid. And of course they're not going to let you in there because they need to do their trauma assessments. And eventually I'm standing by that glass door there, emergency, where you can see down the new part there, and I see them bring him right there, and they brought him right to that room right there, and I could see him, and he wasn't crying or making noise. As soon as he seen me, he started screaming, "I want my dad. Daddy, I want you." And you could hear him in the room, and they went in the room, Dad, come. And they wouldn't let me in. And as a dad, your emotions take over, and you say, well, you're letting me in or I'm coming in because I need to see my son. You could see right to his skull, like the white in the skull. And so eventually they sedated him to cast his arm. He broke it in 2 places, and 2 doctors stitched his head. It took 2 doctors to do it. I couldn't imagine what was going through his brain. To see all that blood and an ambulance ride, and to have that as a kid, to go through that.
He just kept saying to me, "I don't want to die, Mom. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." And I'm like, "You're not going to die." I'm like, "You're going to be fine." But there's something about hearing your little kid be like, "I don't want to die."
When he had told us that, we were in the room. It was just me and Sonia. That's the worst thing in my entire life I've ever heard or could ever imagine that a kid would never say to their parent. Thank God for Halo, because he didn't. That's the truth.
Don't worry, I'm all better now.
I thought Halo was just like a helicopter that just loaded you up and did the things. I didn't realize how intricate the whole process was.
Without them and the capability of those pilots and their flight knowledge and skills to land where they landed in Elkwater, which I got to see the next day, was incredible. They landed in a field with trees all around in the park to get to him, because it was right next to where they were. And to be able to do that in those conditions, and to be able to go to those calls with things that happen, takes a special kind of person, like people. So, grateful that they stay composed, and especially children. Nobody wants to see children hurt.
They just comfort you in that moment where you need somebody. They were able to put my mind at ease like somebody that I'd known for 30 years.
Holds a special spot in my heart now with Halo, and I'll be forever grateful for them, because without their service, who knows? I think people almost take it for granted that there's that service, because they haven't had to experience using that service.
You need somebody to bring calm in the middle of the storm, and they do it very well.
So grateful that they're here, they're available, and they're there at a moment's notice. Yeah.
The speed in which you can do things in a helicopter is just unmatched to what you can do in an ambulance. So I think it definitely made a massive difference.
You always think it's never going to be you or your family or your kids until it's you. So grateful for Halo, so grateful. So I will encourage, everybody, support them in any way you can. Whatever you can do, whatever it is you feel led to do, do it. Because one day you never know, it might be you that needs them.